Release VX 2.8 continues to make a designer more productive with new technology. In this video, we will highlight enhanced capability for differential pairs, sketch router in multiple rule areas, and tip pop-up windows giving you information on items you hover over. To start out, let's look at the differential pair functionality. One of the new capabilities is the addition of via spacing in the constraint editor system. So now from the net class, we can scroll over to differential pairs, and there's now a via spacing column. This allows us to set a different via spacing for a differential pair versus the rest of the design, giving you better control over your signal quality. In addition, there's been an enhancement to entering and exiting pins and vias. If we go ahead and route this differential pair real quick, we'll go ahead and add some arced corners and talk about diff pair modifications with arcs. So with our differential pair now having arcs on it, there's better control over the arcing of our differential pairs and modifications of those items. So if I select these arcs, you notice it's maintaining better spacing between the arcs, and the new algorithm that's being used for differential spacing control allows the tool to manage this spacing more accurately than any other tool in the industry today. All right, we'll go ahead and route our differential pair to show the via spacing. Come up towards the top. Now we'll notice that the spacing here is 6. In fact, I can measure that. Minimum distance. You can see it's 6 instead of the 10 or 12 that I have in my design rules. And then a nice feat function is if I pick up one of the vias, it automatically picks up the other two, and then it does adjustments on the differential pairs as needed. Next, we'll move on to the enhancement of sketch router routing between multiple rule areas within a design. All right, so we have 2 area rules here created, one around the BGA and one around our termination resistors. And so if I go to layer 2, I can group select these now. Do draw sketch, double click, and you will see it's following our design rules for each one of these rule areas. So the trace width and spacing there is different than the trace width and spacing here. This enhancement to the sketch route functionality allows it to now have higher completion rates when routing between 2 rule areas. Lastly, we'll move on to the design tips. Basically, these are little pop-ups that when you hold your cursor over something, it'll give you information about that item instead of having to go down to the status bar and look for it. To turn this on, we go to the View menu, toggle Design Tips, and now when I hold my cursor over a trace or a via or a pin or a component, it will give me information that is also available on the status bar at the bottom.